How to make 2 giant number columns about 8 feet tall. The first thing we like to do is vacuum, which I already did. Next, we're going to get a bag and put it under the stanchion, because as you start putting balloons on here and this is on the floor, the static cling will accumulate the dirt. So find the center of this bag, put the stanchion on here, and this way when you do move this to the floor, it'll be on it. If your back or your body hurts when squatting, use a platform to make it more comfortable. This is just nice for ergonomics, so you don't have to squat down to the floor. Look at the recipe, and in this case, it's going to be, you're going to string 10 quads onto the pole in a spiral pattern. It'll say on the recipe, white across from pink, gold across from gold. So this might be sort of what your recipe is going to look like. When you make a quad, gold is across from gold, white is across from pink. As always with the pump, make sure you have earplugs and glasses. There's a little switch here on this, and the foot pedal uses the pump. And so what I'm going to do is gold across from gold. Do 2 at a time when you can. I've got the setting at 3.5, which works well for 8-inch inflations. Full, burp it down, round it out twice around. Fill 2 balloons at once and tie just 1 knot. I filled it higher than 8.5 inches. I'm going to put it, or 8 inches, I'm going to put it in the 8-inch sizer. Okay, round it out, and then I'm going to cross my hands and go twice around with one of my hands. 1, 2, and then tie just a granny knot. Tying the 2 together is easy if you inflate them so that the strings are long. Okay, then white goes across from pink, same thing. All right, and then, so I filled it full, then I'm burping it down, rounding it out twice around, okay, tying it, and then I'm going to go twice around with one of the balloons around the middle. And so that is the pattern we're looking for, white across from pink, gold across from gold. So then I'm going to put it on the stanchion by going like this, and then I'm going to go twice around the stanchion. Once, twice, and then I'm just going to scooch it down a tiny bit. Boop. White across from pink, gold across from gold. So I'm going to keep going all the way to the top of the stanchion with that. The technique for creating a spiral pattern when you're winding the balloons onto the pole is you put, in this case, the pink over the pink. Choose a color and put that color over that color, and then you're going to rotate it a 1/4 turn so that that color is exactly halfway in between the 2 balloons that are below it. Okay, so this is about the time when you're up here, your shoulders are going to get tired. So just put it on the floor to continue it. And you can keep scooching it down in the middle. Now, one thing that'll happen when it touches the floor is this. Static cling. It gets nasty. And if you just try to pick it off and throw it away, the static cling sucks it right back to the balloon. So we have tape or a lint roller here. You can simply touch the dirty part to this lint roller, or use a piece of tape to take the schmutz off of it, and the schmutz will then stick to the tape. So that's how you keep them clean. Now we're going to fill up the numbers to put on the top of the column. And if I did my job right, all the numbers will have the same finish. Notice these are slightly different in color, and we want to try to avoid that. So if it was like this one and that one, go over to the numbers and find one that's the same finish. And what we're going to do is a 4 and a 0, and they're the same finish. They are going to match perfectly. So these are foils, and foils you would not use on the regular blue pump. In fact, I have the blue pump labeled not for foils. This is the foil pump. If the balloon doesn't easily take the air, use the stick to open the valve. You go ahead and feed the stick gently in there to open up the valve. There's a valve that goes up in through here, and you can see now this is working. It's going in there gently. Now this purposely is a leaky pump. it lets air out around the bottom of it as it goes so that it won't pop the foil. You're not going to get rid of the wrinkles in the foil, but you're going to fill it. Let off a little bit before you think you should because it will be full. Now it's a little too squishy. I'm just going to give it a little more. There. You'll notice it still has wrinkles. That's normal, but it is firm. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it together so it's not going to be all like this. I don't want it all like that. I want it like that. And then I'm going to make a rocker. I'm going to take a long skinny balloon and tie it from the one on the left to the one on the right, leaving out the one in the middle. And it's a rocker because it can now go on top of the column, and then you can adjust it. You can go boop or boop because it's on a string, which lets it rock. I think this one might have a pinhole and might be losing air. I'm going to try and fill it up one more time. But we do have backups, so if this happens to you, just go ahead and fill up another one of exactly the same number and color, and we'll have it with us. We're going to take these two and tie. So we're going to take a long skinny balloon. We're going to start making the loop out here before we put it on. Then we can, it's kind of awkward, take the tab up inside it. I'll do this so you can see. So I'm basically taking the loop, the knot already made with nothing in it, and then I'm putting the tab in there, and then I'm going to pull on the long end because I don't need the short end to be any longer. I'm going to pull real hard and then make it a double knot. And then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to stretch all the way over here and do the same. Stretch it as much as I can. I'm going to make the loop, then I'm going to sort of put my finger in the loop, then I'm going to come over here and place my finger with the tab. This is super awkward the first time you do it. And then I'm going to pull, so we have a flexible string thing. Oh, that didn't work. It is awkward. I'm going to try again. Sometimes it takes more than one try. And I'm pulling the long end, not the little nubby short end, because, okay, that's good. It's holding. Pull it real tight, and then do that. Okay. So now you can put it, I'm going to tape down these tabs. You'll know how to do that. So these tabs don't show. You put a balloon on top of the stanchion so that it won't poke a hole in the foil. So find the fragments, find a color that's similar, this is similar, and just pull that over the top of it so that it's soft, it's not metal, it's going to be poking it. And all you got to do is, you're going to take it in two of them. So I'm taking the string under these two. And I can straighten it. I can go this way if I need to. I can go that way if I need to. When I'm putting it in the trailer, it needs to be bent down like that because then it'll fit in the trailer. So refer to the picture and or the recipe to know what the pattern's going to be. So here we have two columns, and you'll notice the black ones are marching up in this direction on both columns. They're going from like the lower right to the upper left. It could be the opposite. So sometimes we do columns where they're going up this way toward the middle, and then these ones are going up that way toward the middle. When in doubt, if you're on your own, I don't recommend that you ask the client. They're not even going to know what you mean. When in doubt, go by the picture, or you can ask me or someone who sold it, or go by the recipe. So in this case, I'm going to do it just like the picture. When you look from the top, you need to figure out which way these pink ones are going to march. The next one could go here, or it could go over here. And it's going to depend on how you want it to look. Well, let me think. This one, the pink ones, if I'm looking down this way, the pink ones are going clockwise. Boom, 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 boom. So when I do this, the pink ones are going to go clockwise as well. And that way it'll look like the picture. So I'm going to put the pink on the pink, So they're aligned. Then where am I going? Okay, the pink ones are marching clockwise when I'm looking from above. So I'm gonna go boop, a quarter turn clockwise. This is exactly halfway in between these two. I'm gonna find the two that are straddling the pole and do twice around. And then, oh, look, it reversed itself. No, I want you over here. And then scooch it down just a little. And I'm gonna keep going in that direction. Is this one gonna look like that one going this way? Yes. As you're winding the balloons on, make sure you check the pattern, especially at the end, and you want to fix any errors. Here is an error coming up. I want you to spot it.